jab, uppercut, leave you laid out on the floor. Try to duck and roll, hit and miss, now you counting stars. Should've practiced more, should've hit the mask, get out there more. Saying that you're the best, you gotta show me, son. Actions over words, baby boy, is you real or what? Talking way too much, world come back sports. Talking way too much, world come back sports. Talking way too much, world come back sports.
Yo, big shout out. Big shout out to the hottest. I mean, the hottest chat in the MF and game. Hey, South official. No negotiations needed, period. If you only pay attention to what I'm saying in that intro. Oh, come on, man. I don't have to get validation from anybody else, man. I got the hottest chat in the game, man. You know what I'm saying? They're not followers. They know and understand what they need to do. These are individuals that clearly know that their adulthood and their appropriation in life is more important than going out here being followers, jumping in herds of sheep and doing what everybody else doing. They clearly understand that is not their type of community. So that's why I salute them, man. Quality over quantity any day at a time. You know, I always get these people that talk about the numbers. I always say to myself, if my numbers didn't matter, why do you continue to speak on me? You must not be happy with the numbers. And numbers in this particular live stream, we're going to talk about the age numbers. Because for me, it seems like boxing is the real graveyard of combat sports. Yes, you heard it. WCS put it out there. Boxing is the real graveyard of combat sports, man. Boxing has no ruling authority. It's no single entity for anyone to say yay or nay on what's too much for a boxer. You know what I'm saying? Are they too old? Because the commissions are the commissions. There's not just one commission or governing body. There's multiple commissions ran by different controlling authorities, different role players. You know what I'm saying? I mean, yeah, you might have some type of template or standard operating procedures that you go through, but most of the time, people just look at it like, how's this going to happen? How is that going to happen? This should happen. This should happen. Hey, it's commissions everywhere under different promotions. So when you have an open-ended turnstile type of sport like boxing, seeing Manny Pacquiao return back to the sport potentially in 2026, well, I don't want to put too much into it just yet. All right. I want to get to this article. Right quick. AB on deck. What it do, man? I see you. What's good? Appreciate you. So let's go and take a peek at this particular article that I find, you know, once again for Boxing News 24. Sometimes they get it, and sometimes they don't care if they get it. But let's go up here to the top. Manny Pacquiao announces January 2026 comeback in Las Vegas. Rolly Romero rumored as possible opponent for historic title shot. Now, you're saying to yourself, didn't Manny Pacquiao just get out of that? Well, let's just read. The soon-to-be 47-year-old Manny Pacquiao alerted his millions of followers on Tuesday that he plans to fight in early 2026 on January 24th against mystery opponent. Opponent still a mystery. Pacquiao, 6'2", 8-3, 39 knockouts, right? Didn't say who it is, but it's an open secret that it's the WBA welterweight champion Rolando Romero, 17-2 and 13 knockouts. That's the easy mark that Manny is expected to face. A victory for the 47-year-old Filipino star would break a record for the oldest welterweight champion. It would also send a message of how poor the 147-pound division is now. Halt for a second. We're talking about the 147-pound division that simply isn't weak. You have individuals that are signed up in that division that somehow, some way is not getting a shot at another champion. So for me, I'm looking at the itinerary as they're just trying to get certain fighters fights and pretty much work themselves out of the grid square of undisputed at 147 pounds. The last undisputed pound for pound great was Terrence Bud Crawford at 147 pounds, the four belt era. Now, since he's gone, there's just, let's get back down to just getting fighters in position to fight, getting some contracts signed, bringing back a 47-year-old fighter like Manny Pacquiao who just stepped out the ring with Mario Barrios. Let's bring them back. Because right now, clearly we have some names at 147 pounds that isn't getting the look. IBF, Lewis Crocker. He's the IBF champion now. Lewis Crocker, y'all. The number 1 is vacant. The number 2, not rated. Number 3 is Patty Donovan. That is the ranking system for the IBF. For Rolando Romero, you have Shakram Gayasov. You have Stantionis, number 2, who just finished having another fight in Lithuania. He's still ranked in the top 3, y'all, of the WBA. The WBC, Mario Barrios. They have Manny Pacquiao ranked number 1, okay, for the WBC. That's crazy, huh? The WBO, Devin Haney, number 1. Alexis Rocha, number 2. So when I'm looking at Rolando Romero, who they assuming may be the potential op to face Manny Pacquiao's return, you have to say to yourself, well, let's kind of have an understanding now. Manny Pacquiao, who came into boxing January 1995, way back. I mean, you want to talk about way back. He has a total of 73 bouts, 8 division world champion. His KO percentage still exceeds that of 50%. He sits at 62.9%. Southpaw, Philippines. Crazy. He's a Filipino legend. But his record sits at 62 with 8 losses, 3 draws. A draw that came by way of Mario Barrios back in July 2025 of this year. Now, potentially, Manny Pacquiao may touch down again and land in the square to face Rolando Romero for a potential title shot early 2026, but nothing has been confirmed as of yet on BoxRec. But there's a problem. Why is Manny Pacquiao, of all people, jumping the line and being allowed to face a younger Rolando Romero? Why is he still at 147 pounds when there's other contenders that's up there? Where's Blair the Flair? He's at 154 pounds now. I feel bad for a fighter like him who has a win over Adrian Broner. And pretty much since that win, him and AB are pretty much a no conversation. And Blair is a good dude to me, man. But when I look at the rankings, I always looked at Blair, who was supposedly signed with Don King. Okay, I don't see him in the rankings, man. It's almost like he blackballed. But this live is not about Blair. But I'm saying you have some names up there. Like Conor Ben. I know Conor Ben is gonna face Eubanks again. Chris Eubank. You have some names at 147 pounds to shake it up a little bit. You have Karen Chukazigan. You have Green Machine still there. But most of all, you have the champions. Norman sits with the WBO welterweight world champion due to face Devin Haney. Devin Haney is not a current reigning welterweight champion, but he is a 2 division, undisputed 135 world titleist. I was assuming that Norman would face somebody like Barrios pretty soon, but Barrios came out of a fight with Manny Pacquiao, so he probably won't be back no time in the first semester of 2026. Rolando Romero, I would like to see Norman fight Rolando Romero after he beats Devin Haney. Lewis Crocker, I mean, he has a lot to prove or whatever. He's a champion, email champion. It happens a lot this day and time in boxing. But for me, for Manny Pacquiao to be coming back the way he is, why? Why does the sport allow a fighter like Manny, who's pretty much getting to a point, and just to mention, Lewis Crocker is a 28-year-old that looked like a prior band member of Color Me Bad. Ooh, I wanna sex you up. This dude has one of the ugly bowl cut cuts I've seen in a long time, man. You know what I'm saying? A UK fighter, 22-0, 11 knockouts. 28 years of old, 28 years of age, and really, you know, I mean, he might do some work. Who knows? You know, he might do some work. But looking at his resume, you know, he had a rematch with Patty Donovan. But anyway, back to the task at hand. Let's continue reading this article, okay? It says there's only a WBO champion, Brian Norman Jr., and not much else. Going up against Norman Jr., 28-0, 22 knockouts, would be a bad idea for Manny, as he has too much power and talent. Getting knocked out by Norman Jr. would be a bad way for Manny Pacquiao to end. I don't think so, because boxing allowed Manny Pacquiao to continue to have access to the sport. The powers that be continue to allow these old fighters to return. That's why I have definitely changed my stance, what my perception is. How do I provide feedback when it comes to fighters taking money fights? We have to jump outside the kindergarten type of mentality when we hear fighters like Gervonta Davis taking a money fight against Jake Paul. Fighters should jump on the train real quick, like they have a round trip ticket. They should get the bag when the bag is presented to them. Forget all the titles and everything, rematches, because it was a draw and all that. If someone shows interest into a fighter and you're capable of making your biggest paycheck, get on board and get the money. You can't make your own money. It's illegal. But you can earn it and get paid revenue in a sport like this. You don't want to be Manny Pacquiao. For those of you that's listening, tell your fighters they don't want to be Manny Pacquiao. The game has changed, okay? The game is not up here babysitting. They're not micromanaging you. The game will have you all messed up. You will be like Manny Pacquiao coming back close to 50 years old. And Manny has made millions. Get the bag. Forget what these content creators are saying. Forget what these so-called hardcore boxing enthusiasts and everybody want to say. They're like, oh man, you should be fighting this person, that person, while they on here trying to get super chats and goddamn check their viewership and all that. They're not going to pay your bills when you get out. They're not going to come by and check on you when you're having tough times. They're not going to go to the Philippines and check on Manny. That's why you have to take the route which best serves your purpose in getting paid and compensated for being in such a tough combat sport. They used to talk about it's a school of hard knocks. Boxing is the sweet science. They tell you all these cliche terms about a sport that we know that's difficult. But they've gotten too wrapped up in believing that they can dictate a fighter's pathway and how they earn their money, vice who they should be fighting. If you don't have value as a fighter, let's use, for example, right? Let's use this measure. It's just a hypothetical measure, right? Let's look at it this way when you pick up rank. What if you picked up rank in the military and didn't get paid for that rank? You stayed getting the same pay as you did once you joined. Well, our military would be short. We'd be shorthanded, and it'd be very, very minimal civilians that would be volunteering their services to go into the military to serve their country. One of the reasons why people go in the military is for the 2 paychecks a month, health care, growth and responsibility as an adult, and be able to serve beneath the nation's umbrella. That's why they go in the military. Not everybody's a military person, but with every rank, you get promoted. You get promoted, right? With every rank, you get promoted. You get higher pay. You keep getting higher and higher pay until you decide to either get out under the retirement limit or at the limit, or you do some years over the minimum of 20 years. But you get paid, right? So what's the deal with boxing? Boxing doesn't have a rank structure. Unfortunately, boxing doesn't have a organized structure where people can vote, so to speak, where fighters should be in the ranking system, and it's considered to be within integrity. Boxing doesn't have that shit. You can be an E5 one day, and then you can be an E2 the next day, or you can be kicked out. You can be blackballed and kicked out. Nobody's looking for you, and you ain't getting no fights or anything. Boxing is a cold sport. Cold sport. I mean, that's a dish that's served cold all the time. I sit back and look at it now, and people wonder why I take the stance that I do on certain topics and certain incidents that's going on, that's changed. You have to take it. You got to take boxing for where we at right now. It's a new evolution. You see a lot of innovative type decisions are being made. You have Turkey Al-Sheikh, Nick Khan, Dana White coming into the game. You have, all these broadcasts, these networks leaving. You have a change of the game. There's a new structure. The application is becoming different, and people don't want to accept it. They up here trying to tell fighters who they should fight. No, if you get the money, just like Canelo is going to get paid against Jake Paul, take the money. That's one thing I would salute Canelo. Canelo got paid during his career. I don't care. You can say Canelo popped dirty for Clinton. You can say that he was a dirty fighter within the Reynoso camp. You can say anything you want. One thing you can't say about Canelo is that he's broke. And one thing I don't think I will ever see is that Canelo will come back at 50 years old and say, I'm hurting for money. I don't see it. I returned my horses, ate up all my money. Why you didn't sell the horses before you went broke? I love my horses. I'm just gonna come back. I'm gonna fight Manny Pacquiao for 15,000. Because the price yesterday is not the price today. You're not going to hear Canelo do that. You're not going to do it, bro. You're not going to hear that. That's why these fighters should be getting paid, man. Like, I really don't get into the pockets or acting like I'm a voluntary CFO of boxing and your services, you don't have to tell me anything. I'm gonna provide my services pro bono, and you can just hit me on the back end whenever you feel like I did a qualified enough job. No, I don't want that shit. I'm just looking at Manny Pacquiao. I'm saying, good God dang, bro. Why are you even back? The article goes on to say, yo, fans on social media are unhappy about the possibility of Manny Pacquiao fighting for another world title. They feel he's been gifted a world title shot without earning it the way the contenders do. It's viewed as cheapening the sport, making it look more like a popularity contest. Well, guess what? You know, boxing's been about popularity, but now it's even above popularity. It's all about convenience. It's all about who can make the moves work that benefits them and their promotion. Why? Because boxing was struggling during the pandemic. The sport didn't quite recover in its totality from the pandemic. No matter all the vaccinations that was going out, you know what I'm saying? All those people that was dying from that, boxing in itself was dying for something else. Boxing depends on what? They dependent on being able to set up fight cards and have a venue. When the pandemic hit, a lot of venue was shut down until they opened them back up. The only warrior, the only OG, the only grand pooper that said, no, I ain't gonna sit out here and wait for nothing was Dana White. Dana White said, I'm gonna go talk to some people and I'm gonna get my boys back in the cage. Dana White said, I'm getting my boys back in the cage. I could give a damn about this, that, and the other, what they talking about, shutting down everything. I'm gonna go get my fighters back in the cage. They could talk what they want about Dana, but during the pandemic, Dana went searching. He was out there on that voyage. He was out there in them helos, making phone calls. Hey, I'm showing up on your front door. And I'm not there to negotiate either. I'm here to say, when can we open up the doors so we can have it? Dana, you know, well, hey, I'll be there at 1400 sharp. 1400. Have your people meet me out front. Them doors better not be closed. Well, boxing? See, Dana White's the president of the UFC. Boxing didn't have a president. It was all for one and one for naught. You heard some of these promoters, which I'm not going to mention their name. They was afraid to freaking take a risk and go out there and start putting on fights in the bubble. I remember when Dana White was about to put on a UFC card near the back end of 2020. Not really at the back end, just outside mid quarter of 2020. And boxing was still up there. What we do, because it has no real structure at the end of the day. There's no one governing body that people can make those decisions and say, hey, guess what? We good. Guyasov skipped over. She said, what potentially makes the WBA look worse is that mandatory Shakram Guyasov has been waiting for a world title shot since 2023 and has been skipped over. He should be next for 47. He should be next, not 47-year-old Manny Pacquiao. Hello to all my boxing fans. I'm excited to let you know I will return to the ring January 24th in Las Vegas. It is going to be an exciting and special event. Stay tuned. More news to come on my opponent in the next few days, said Manny Pacquiao on social media, alerting his fans about his next fight day. Manny Pacquiao came out of 4-year retirement recently, fighting a 12-round draw against WBC welterweight champion Mario Barrios on July 19, 2025. There were a lot of angry people about Pacquiao being given a world title shot in his first fight back. Why people continue to be mad? You have voices like Shakur Stevenson say it ain't about the money. So Shakur is going to be one of those guys that come back like Manny Pacquiao in his 40s, because he's going to find out that certain places that he kind of, dreamed about, you know what I'm saying? That he was just up there pondering, man, I wish I can buy a house over here. I wish I can get out over here and go over here. I wish I can do this, that, and the other. He's going to find himself having to come back if he continue to say it ain't all about money. Because legacy, At the end of the day, legacy is highest. The highest value of legacy is only through the eyes of the person who's rating it. Everyone who has a perception or a lens about a fighter's legacy will be different. You're talking about someone who's just being a critic? Are we talking about somebody who's just been following the sport? Are we talking about somebody to the knowledge of historian type qualifications, Bert Sugar? You know what I'm saying? Who's passed away, shout out to him. What are we talking about? Because obviously, Manny Pacquiao, he's getting a royalty treatment from being an 8 division world champion, right? So they're providing him the opportunity to use that card. You know what I'm saying? To skip the line card. They're allowing Manny Pacquiao to skip the line. That's his face card. That's his VIP ticket. Boxing can continue to do that and will continue to give you fights that certain individuals are not looking for. And as fans, y'all need to understand there's nothing you can do about it. Nothing. You all want to sit and complain about Tank fighting Jake Paul when Canelo Alvarez was just about to do the same thing. He was about to do the same thing. Mike Tyson came back at 58. He went in there with modified rules and a sanctioned bout, yo. Men fight 3-minute rounds. Well, you know, if it get approved, they get approved under this commission right here. We know where we can go to get those rules to change. It's people that's not educated on certain commissions approve will be very lenient on reducing the template or the format that boxing goes by in regular sanctioning bouts. 3-minute, whether it's a 4-round, 8-round, 10-round, 12-round. But for Tyson, they reduced the minutes per round, and you know, per the contract, which wasn't accessible to the public, they can sit up there and say, "Hey, Mike, you might not want to throw that right uppercut. I don't want to see no goddamn power shot. Don't go in there and knock Jake out. You're not gonna get paid." He went and fought under special rules bout, which wasn't an exhibition, but a still sanctioned bout that now Jake Paul has on his record as defeating Mike Tyson. Did he defeat him, y'all? Did he defeat him? For real. Do people say Jake Paul defeated Mike Tyson? When you talk to the hardcore fans, do they say he defeated Mike Tyson? On his record is greened up in an 8-round, 2-minute per round fight. He has the one and only, the icon, the legend, Iron Mike Tyson on his resume, yo. Jake Paul, yo. Jake Paul has this man as the only modified fight on his resume. Manny Pacquiao, though he is younger than Mike Tyson, he was able to come back after a 4-year layoff and fight Mario Barrios. How? How can you look? If you're unwilling to archive this information and say things have changed, so therefore I must change the way I think. If you want to come up here and combat the change of the times and expect somebody like me to believe you have the power to amend what different commissions are still transparently doing in your face, I can't take you serious. I cannot take you serious if you're unwilling. You want to be obstinate. You want to continue to think you're going to amend the changes that are taking place right in front of your face, just all off of a streaming service, all off of your position on YouTube, how many people are tuned into your channel, how many subscribers you got. You're not changing anything, just like showbiz didn't get nothing changed from putting a running petition in. It's not. It's frivolous information. It will always be extraneous. You would just be, a garrulous individual on here talking and say, "Oh man, that so and so shouldn't do this." It's not going to happen for you. These individuals that are getting paid off these type of fights do not care one iota what boxing fans think about it. They don't care. Maybe Turkey Al-Sheikh cares a little bit, but we've seen Turkey Al-Sheikh, the judges over there in Riyadh season, do what? Give Carlos Adames and Hamzat Shiraz a freaking draw. Well, we clearly know Adames won. It's been some draws over there now, if you know what I mean. It's been some questionable decisions, if you know what I mean. But I don't take no offense to it because boxing has been doing this for quite some time, people. Shout out to my boy Haynes in the building. Salute to you, brother. Always prayers. God bless, man. Blue Hustle in the building. What it do? What it do, Blue? I think his opponent is going to be Tank. How is that possible, Blue? How is that possible? If we're in October and Tank is set to fight Jake Paul, right? How is he going to turn around at the early part of 2026 and step in the ring with Manny Pacquiao? How is that possible, big dog? Please enlighten me. Enlighten me. That bulb needs to flicker a little bit. You know what I'm saying on that comment? It has to flicker a little bit, that Blue. Explain to me how Tank, of all people, is going to make the pay that he's about to make with Jake, right? And say, you know what? I'm going to kill myself and jump back in the ring against Manny Pacquiao. Nah. NYT in the building. What it do, brother? BG in the building. Bud Smoke Canelo. What's good, man? Trey Williams in the building. What's good, Trey? Salute. Mike on deck. What's good? What's good? Haynes Legacy. CJ Rich. What's good, man? Al Money on deck. You know, I look at this, what they're saying in the article. Fans believe that it shouldn't have happened. Pacquiao should have had to defeat the number one WBC contender. This goes along with the bowl of bias that, you know, people try to spoon feed their listeners, right? They serve that up like it's fresh, hot miso soup. You know what I'm saying? With some nice, soft beef as the protein. But really, it's a pile of shit. Because when certain boxers want to challenge other boxers, they say, well, he shouldn't get that opportunity because he haven't had any fights at that division. Then you look at Manny Pacquiao coming off a 4-year layoff, and he's still capable at his age of making 147 pounds, which is commendable, but that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about there's a class, a roster of qualified licensed boxers at 147 pounds that does not get the look in that sanctioning body. Manny Pacquiao does. And if it's true that he's coming back off of Mario Barrios' draw to fight Rolando Romero, I'm asking you all, don't be mad about it. Stop sitting up here hazing yourself, as we used to say in the core. Stop hazing yourself, man, because you can't change the shit. You can only go here and throw a tantrum and pout. You don't look good, you know, in public as a grown-ass adult stuck in on a pacifier, yo. People, hey, buddy, calm down. What's wrong? This boxing shit right here. Oh, it's that boxing. You one of those. Oh, my God, buddy. Didn't you hear WCS tell you don't worry about it? Man, I ain't talking about him, man. You know, it ain't too many people looking at his channel. I'm just saying, you know, man, they should just do better, man. Boxing, who should do better? The people that run boxing. What commission? What governing body are we talking about? What president? Who's in charge of boxing? You got to ask yourself, who's in charge? We got fighters going straight to the graveyard in boxing, yo. It will forever be that way. You see, you can't be mad if I'm saying boxing is a graveyard of combat sports, because boxing doesn't have a governing body. There's no single entity that evolves around boxing that has the power to accept grievances or accept documentation where a fighter feels that he or she should get this type of movement or advancement in the sport for a title shot or a ranking or whatever. It's nobody. You have to deal with the sanctioning body. We all know the sanctioning body. They some clever sly mofos. Yeah, they clever as hell. And boxing will always be a thumbtack of boxing is business. You always see that sticky note up there, thumbtacked all around. Boxing is a business. Boxing is a business. It's a business, y'all. Real talk. Boxing is a business. That business doesn't necessarily have to be with making a fight on fight night. Boxing can be with maneuvering your fighter up the rank structure to potentially get a fight, to link up with a potential future name for a fight, to accommodate them in the ranking systems, right? And that's how I see it. You know, it's all about who's conducting the orchestra. For those of you that's been to see an orchestra, a symphony, it's all about who the conductor is. And in boxing, the sanctioning bodies, they conduct how fighters move up and down the ladder of their sanctioning entity. Even though the sanctioning bodies does not run the entire sport of boxing, if you're talking about a title shot or anything to do with the WBC, WBA, IBF, or WBO, they're going to be in total control of that. They're going to pretty much work it how they see fit. But as far as the micro versus the macro, there's a lot of space that we'll never be able to visit because we're just uninvited. They're not going to invite us to those areas because we don't have shit to say. They don't want to hear what we got to say. They rather see us on the outside looking in, complaining, whining, and laughing while they goddamn eat that soft, tender steak, that filet mignon, that 13 ounce, drinking the fine wines, sailing on the water, looking all the way down, look like it's infinity, enjoying the breeze while we on YouTube, sitting in front of a green screen, talking about Tank shouldn't be fighting Jake Paul, man. And he should be fighting Shakur. Shakur. Kerr. You know what I'm saying? I mean, come on, bro. Nobody's talking about Manny Pacquiao. I'm looking at titles. They don't care because they don't really know how much money Manny Pacquiao is making. He's an older dude. Everybody know he shouldn't be coming back getting a second title shot against Rolly. Why am I not seeing more criticism delegated towards Manny Pacquiao age and him coming back getting a second title shot? Where's the outcry? If it was Bud that was about to fight Manny Pacquiao, if it was Sir Crawford, the pound for pound king, the legend, the icon, that's about to face Manny Pacquiao, oh my God, the algorithm will be smoking. All fire departments, alert. Report to the YTC grounds. There's smoke. Hurry, ASAP. I mean, the phone lines will be goddamn ringing off. Oh, how dare he? He comes off a Canelo fight, and he's about to fight Manny Pacquiao in the first part of 2026. Oh my God, that's a tragedy. Look how Bud is representing the titles at super middleweight. He wants to move down and fight a smaller Pacquiao. So what they accuse Bud of doing and not being big enough to fight Canelo, then they'll turn around and ridicule him again to moving down to fight somebody like Manny Pacquiao because he's a smaller fighter. I'm just giving you a scenario for real. Sober. I'm sober. I'm just providing you a scenario on how the fight fans will be selective and pick and choose their bias. Manny Pacquiao is returning to get a second straight title shot. And this dude is not taking any type of boots etiquette. Mr. Tune Up. You know what I'm saying? He's not taking a tune up. But as we've seen recently with Crawford, oh my God, the bitching, the whining. He needs to fight somebody at 168. What about David Benavidez? Oh my God. He doesn't deserve to fight Canelo. And he doesn't that. It was just all over and over again, man. All the bitching and whining, man. All the sucker shit that was going on. But no outcry for Manny Pacquiao. Manny Pacquiao, I would give a take probably at 57, 58. Anytime you see Manny Pacquiao, he might have a goddamn mask on, a special made mask. You know what I'm saying? Like they used to wear back in the pandemic, but this is going to be special made. This is going to tuck up under his chin nice and tight, and he tied up in the back of his head. That's because Manny Pacquiao may be drooling on himself by he's 57, 58 years old. Because if they continue to allow him to return to face young talent, and he's cutting weight at his age, I don't give a fuck what people congratulate Manny for doing. That's a tough weight cut. This dude came up as small as he was, all the way up 8 divisions. This dude is still cutting down. That's tough, man. That's tough on an old ass man. That shit is extremely tedious. The rigors that he has to go through. You always say to yourself, is he clean? Are they allowing him to cut corners? I mean, how can you be in your 40s like that, still dropping weight down to 147? How can you still balance the scales with younger, youthful fighters, man? And you're 47 when the time you step in there in freaking 2026. Do y'all have the answers? Do y'all have the answers? Did y'all read the back end? Manny Pacquiao set to return early 2026 versus Rolly, potentially. MKB in the building. What it do? Monty King Boxing. Salute to you. Mrs. Hain Legacy, Boxing Queen in the building. You know what I'm saying? Salute to you. Y'all show your love for the Haynes family on deck. To be honest, this is a teachable moment. You're diving into the bone marrow of boxing, the sport we love. Doesn't love us, but we're gonna participate nonetheless, as you say, hocus pocus. Yeah, man. Well said. You know, I just look at that. The magic will continue. The shows will always draw the curtains. There will always be more and more casual boxing fans coming into the fray to understand that, okay, this is the way they see boxing. But the way the ones has been covering boxing, been paying attention to boxing for the last 10 years, so to speak, 5 to 10 years, 15 and stuff. You have to be willing to understand that change is here. It's been changed since the pandemic. Boxing, since it's such the sport moves off different axles rather. They have different axles. They have different gear shifts. Boxing has different transmissions. The promoters, you know what I'm saying? Those are different engines internal to those promoters. Those cylinders and everything that make that promotion run are built different. The funding and the budget is different. Everybody ain't moving the way they used to. People will talk about ESPN leaving Top Rank, but they couldn't tell you 3 or 4 months what's the game plan. They couldn't tell you how this all broke down. How did it begin to fragment in the first place? Why wasn't there somebody there to be proactive enough to have a smooth transition from ESPN to the next broadcast? I see Dana White over here saying, you know what? I'm locked in. Dana White is an OG, man. He don't play, man. He have no mercy for his enemies, man. He said he will have no mercy on his enemies. Dana White is linking up with Paramount. The only thing that these boxing fans wanted to talk about was PBC linking up with Prime. We've seen some fights here and there, but people want to complain about Riyadh, but just like a lot, it's being shoved down their throats. Nothing you can do about it. So why do you try to swim in, the boxing aquatics of information, knowing damn well you're not qualified for those type of currents? Why would you do this shit? Why would you want to dive your punk ass off that board into the current with no life reserve, no jacket, no nothing? You just want to say, I'll be all right. I'll come up on shore sooner or later. Yeah, you're going to come up there dead, fucking around trying to change what boxing is putting out right now. When boxing makes ripples, when boxing makes those waves come in, it's not for the benefit of those on the shore. When it's rough waters for boxing, they don't care about the fans. They care about the entire structure that they got going on. It's some decisions that have to be made. There's some adjustments. You have to do some fine tuning. There are going to be some people that have to make sacrifices. There might be some people that let go. There may be some changes that affect everybody financially or employment. It can be so many variables, yo. But since boxing doesn't have the governing body, we're seeing these promotions. You know what I'm saying? Some of them in the emergency lane right now. Some of them in the fast lane. Some of them not even on the main highway. They're on the motherfucking gravel. Terrain is different. They have to make the adjustments. They say, God damn, I never thought I'd be over here. This shit bumpy as hell. Everybody has their own freaking route they're trying to take. And it's not really so-called competing with other promotions. It just gives you a prime example on how boxing will always be the graveyard because there's no teamwork. There's no union. There's no funding. There's not a place where they can request a loan like the U.S. They always talk about how we in debt. There's no way you can request a loan when it comes to the promoters to make the sport say, okay, we used to enjoy the Showtime budget that was going to PBC so we can get the fight cards. Cool. But what if there was something like a single entity that, could fund boxing? All of the promoters over here in the U.S. Because I'm going to be honest with you, Turkey Al-Sheikh and Riyadh season is going to do what the hell they want to do. When that money started to show its face, you saw how many affiliates were signed up over there for those fights. All the promotions pretty much over here in the U.S. outside of PBC. And I think Turkey even made a point to say he's going to work with PBC several months ago. I mean, if you have no other recourse, what's going to be your COA? Your course of action has to come quick in a hurry, else they're going to look like, damn, I was around when Matchroom was in business. I was around when Top Rank was in business. PBC, oh man, I was around when all of that shit. Golden Boy. Now it's just Turkey Al-Sheikh. I mean, all of them are attached to Turkey Al-Sheikh and Riyadh season, man. God damn. There's nothing you can do. We shouldn't get mad at fighters taking higher purses at this time in the game. At this point right here, we shouldn't be mad because if you're not paying attention to the news, we had a government shutdown. The economy is not looking as purposely as it should be. It's not looking as thorough as it should be. Stable. It's not. It's not as bright. It's not. Its functionality is just a little bit off right now. And we've been through these times with the economy. So being that the economy is what a fighter has to face outside the ring, you don't think it's feasible for them? Fighters like Tank and anybody else, Canelo, Crawford, anybody. Anybody with a name to take a big money fight, hell yeah, you better do it. Hell yeah, you better do it. Take the big money fight. I don't care if it's a popular name. Who gives a fuck? Who gives a damn about a popular name? Them people are not going to come over there and get you out the bed. They're not going to wipe your ass and give you a bath. They're not going to make sure you're clean and make sure the tub is right. You know what I'm saying? After they get you up out, they're not going to do it. Boxing does not have a stipend that a fighter gets, a severance package, a 401k, a retirement plan. It's nothing, man. You do not get to freaking get the retirement ceremony that you want and the send off that you need, and go to the office after that and sign that paper and say, this is how much you receive for the rest of your life. And also, you get to go to this place if you have any medical problems. How? If you break your arm and you were signed with TGB under PBC, and then you switched to Top Rank, you had another injury, and then you went to match room, you went back to Top Rank and all that other shit. When you get out and you got paperwork on the injury that you had with TGB, it's really invalid because you went to other promotion and continued to fight. So if you really wanted to take them to court, they would say, well, you can't prove that the reason why it's hurt now is strictly based off the night that you fought so-and-so. It can pretty much be detailed. And we have the footage. Look, we have the footage and receipts that you was landing some pretty good shots with that same hand when you was signed with Matchroom. So, Your Honor, we asked you to throw this case out because this fighter was throwing punches several fights that he had after that injury. It looked like it's healed up and everything. I'm telling you. I mean, boxing is a dirty game. The promotion will pay for a fighter's injury while they're signed to them because they have insurance on the fighters. But after you expire and you choose to transition and sign papers with another promotion and you have a pre-existing injury, that doesn't carry forward like the military. When we get injured in the military from deployment or anything dealing with training, it's documented in our medical records. And that medical record, no matter if we, like when I was 17 when I came in, right? No matter if you're 17 and you go all the way up and you retire 45, that time that you was injured in your first year of the military carries forward all the way up till you get out. And then when you get out, you take your medical record. You might have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 medical books. You take it to the VA and submit for your disability package. That's how that works. That's how that works. You submit for your disability package. And then when you get that disability, it's based off what went on in the military and all that, and you get paid monthly. There's a lot of people that hate that. There's people that have criticized me for being retired as if I'm at the shelter. And I get it, man. You know what I'm saying? I get it. They wouldn't understand. But they don't also go through the pain I have to go through with these disabilities either. Just because I can go in here and talk and speak on boxing or whatever. It's sacrifices that you have to make. You know what I'm saying? It's sacrifices. But what I'm trying to tell you is that boxing doesn't allot that concession to fighters who want to hang up and knock the gloves, yo. But if you in the military, that shit's happened. It's a whole different structure. It's a whole different thing right there, man. Like, it's not easy, bro. It's not easy either way for boxing or the military. I'm just saying it'll be nice if the boxers got a retirement package. I mean, people have been talking about this for like years, bro, on how to establish a union. But you get Manny Pacquiao, who potentially in another 10 years, man, he might not even know his name no more. I'm just saying, he may not be in good health. He may be. We don't know if he keep on going here against these youthful fighters for a paycheck. Damn. I agree. I agree, Haynes. Nasty work. Nasty work, bro. They developed these glazing old champion ways. Hey, man. You know, MKB been around for a minute. You know what as I do, man. Manny Pacquiao shouldn't be getting a title shot, a second straight title shot. These are, I'm talking about, these are legitimate concerns dealing with a fighter that definitely has the royalty card stamped and approved, 8 division champion, a Hall of Famer. He has the royalty card that he plays constantly. And Manny Pacquiao, to be honest, he's not out here trying to say, I don't think I should get a second title shot. It's not fair. No, Manny Pacquiao, okay, no doubt. Oh, no doubt. I get back in there, and I need the money. Floyd Mayweather is not even trying to entertain a Manny Pacquiao fight because they can't pay him enough. Floyd Mayweather 160 million and Manny Pacquiao 15,000. He's not going to get the benefit of the pie slit, the slice of pie. He's not going to get the benefit. But somebody against Rolly, I don't know how he might be getting a good 7,500. I don't know. Rolly has never been this top ticket seller. But I don't know how Manny is supposed to benefit. What is this about? Like, who's paying the millions to Manny Pacquiao? Why is he still lacing up? Why is he still getting approved? It's my question to you. That's all. I'm just trying to find some shit out, bro. Canelo, right? Manny Pacquiao had been boxing damn near outside just under 10 years before Canelo had his first fight. That's crazy. Manny Pacquiao has more fights than Canelo Alvarez. Canelo is like 68 and Manny's like 70 something, like 73 or something. That's wild. That's crazy as hell right there, bro. That's crazy, man. That's crazy. Let me see what else is out here, man. Because, oh my God, yo. I saw Lamont Roach and Speed meet up, and supposedly, Speed was talking about Roach. He wanted to spar him. So they had a moment. And Speed was like, I ain't scared to spar. I'll do this and that. But, it's good. Roach is getting some exposure with Speed. Speed has like 15 point some million followers, dog. Speed is on an entirely different universe right now. The way he's doing is different than anybody else, man. Seriously. Speed is almost like his own president. I like him way better than Casanet, bro. For real. He's going around the world doing different shit. He's way more athletic. Hey, man, shout out to Speed. I hope nobody takes his life, man. Because they always throwing those racist comments at Speed and people laugh it off. But he's going around in other people's territory. And not everybody's going to like it. Not everybody's going to respect it. But I do like what he's doing with his brand. And he's legitimately fast. So, he's won some, he lost some. He brought Ashton Hall, first up, made him, get a little bit more followers or not. And then you haven't heard too much about Ashton Hall. Hey, it's almost like he kind of, put that man in the shadows a little bit. But hey, be careful what you ask for. And let's not forget that, this weekend we have Boots in Lima. We have that. That's still popping off. Boots in Lima. Arturo Gatti Jr., death at 17. Boxing has been hit with a tragedy. Arturo Gatti Jr., the teenage son of Canadian fight legend, Arturo Thunder Gotti has died at just 17. He was found hanged in an apartment in Mexico where he'd been staying with his mother. Damn. He was found hanged where he was living in an apartment with his mother. For those who love Gotti's name, it's a gut punch that lands right on an old wound. 16 years ago, the sport lost Arturo Sr. under a cloud of unanswered questions. Now, the son he left behind, the boy cradled in his arms during the fateful Brazil trip, is gone before he could even start his life. The news surfaced when longtime friend and former Gotti bodyguard Chuck Zito posted on Instagram. It's with heavy heart that I say RIP to 17-year-old Arturo Gotti Jr., who was found hanging in an apartment in Mexico yesterday. The same way they found his father dead in an apartment in Brazil 16 years ago. Damn. Wow. Man. Condolences to the Gottis, man. Condolences to the Gottis. Yo, shout out to the hottest chat in the MF game. Always thank you all for supporting the channel. And those of you that activate the button, we should do it again. Another time, another place, man. You know what it is. I'm out.